Edgar Wright is finally back with a new movie, and it's something that I'm sure many of you guys do not have on your radar. Everyone has Last Night in Soho right now on their radar, like me. Super excited for that movie, but he has a film coming out before that, and it's called The Spark Brothers. It premiered at Sundance this year, and it's about a musical band that you've probably heard their music before, but you've definitely never heard the story about them. What's going on, buddy? Welcome back to a brand new movie review. My name is Zach, and here is my Sundance review for The Spark Brothers, once again directed by Edgar Wright. And it's coming out this week in theaters, and let me tell you, this is one wonderful documentary, and one that quite blew me away, because I love Edgar Wright. He's one of my favorite directors out there, but when I heard he was doing a documentary on a subject matter that I had no frame of mind and literally had no passion or even love for this band whatsoever. And I didn't grow up with them. I didn't know who the hell they were. I just know who Edgar Wright was, and that's what made me excited at least to see this. Spark Brothers, it's a musical odyssey through 5 weird and wonderful decades with Ron and Russell Mael, celebrating the inspiring legacy of the Sparks. And like I said, this is, of course, Edgar Wright's first directorial debut as a documentary director. Now, we've seen him with Hot Fuzz, the whole entire Cornetto trilogy for that sakes, Baby Driver, and again, Last Night in Soho coming out later this year. And the big thing that comes to Edgar Wright as a director is that spark, that flame as his directing passion. And flat out, the Spark Brothers works because of his direction. And we'll talk about his direction in just a second, but I need you guys to hit that like and subscribe button if you guys enjoy talking movies, because this is truly the channel for you guys, and you don't want to miss out on tons of early movie reviews and other sort of geeky content over here on a daily basis. Let me back over to that direction that I mentioned with Edgar Wright, and it's the reason that this film works, because truthfully enough, my one con with the film is the length. I do feel like it is a little bit too long, spanning that many decades. It feels like this probably could have even been a mini-series of sorts, and really dove into these people even more, and his direction I feel like would have maybe flavored it a bit in little bits of values, because it is almost 2 hours and 30 minutes. But for that sake alone, the Spark Brothers, again, his direction is so fever pitched with tons of energy and style that the second you start it, you're like, this is exactly what I would imagine an Edgar Wright documentary becoming. And it absolutely is. The way that he infuses their music throughout the entire thing actually makes you, again, kind of fall in love with the Spark Brothers themselves, or the Sparks, and actually go back and listen to their music and jam out to them. And some of them you'll be like, I know this song, or I know my dad listened to this song, and that's what I would do. And then talking to my dad about the band and asking his thoughts, he goes, oh, I loved them. It's a fun aspect in that, seeing that all. And again, the way that it kind of brings them to life, and how many albums and music that they put together. The fact that, again, you've never heard about them really before, and you're probably sitting there going, I have no idea who these people are. I'm just here for Edgar Wright. That's kind of how I was. But the amount of stars and cast and people coming about to talk about them show the passion that really came about it. It never comes off in a way of being like, oh, this is the documentary that we're going to make you feel bad for them. We're going to make you all this stuff. It's going to be a subject matter you've never heard about. No. The brilliant thing about this is it feels like Edgar Wright is your best friend, and he's showing you a piece of music for the first time, or even a movie or TV show, whatever it might be. We've all had that friend that goes, hey, you need to check this out. And then they do, and you end up falling in love with it. That's what it feels like here, is that Edgar Wright is your best friend, who's going like this and being like, hey, you got to know about this band. And I love it. The fact that he took this passion of his, this one of his favorite bands, and made a documentary about them in such a stylistic way that makes you fall in love with them. And even if it wasn't for all the commentary and stuff, I would have still fallen in love with them just from the music. The rest of it just adds that extra layer that brings a lot to this movie. It's a joyous odyssey that really much takes you into such a sensible way. If you're already a fan of this band, then you're gonna love this documentary. If you're someone who's just a fan of Edgar Wright, you're gonna love this documentary. And if you're just someone who's wanting to explore a new band that you've never heard about before, you're probably going to love this documentary. Edgar Wright could literally direct paint drying, and I'd be there to watch it. I've never heard of the Spark Brothers till this, and now I'm obsessed. Imagine, again, your father, your best friend, showing you some music, and you just falling in love with the band that they showed you. That's what the Spark Brothers documentary does. It's truly joyous, captivating, and completely entertaining, and all of Edgar Wright's directing style that we know and love already. Again, it is too long, to be flat out honest. It is too long, and I feel like in chapters, it could have been broken up, maybe in a mini-series. But as a full-length documentary, the pacing is a little bit there, and by the third act, you're like, all right, let's wrap this thing up. But when it wraps up, you're going, that was awesome. And I just sat there going, this is a great film. And if you're looking for just something a little bit different this week, you should definitely check out The Spark Brothers. So with all that said, I'm going to give The Spark Brothers a B+. Let me know down below your guys' thoughts on this film. How excited are you for it? Are you just excited for another Edgar Wright film? We get 2 this year, guys. 2! How lucky are we? Let me hear your guys' thoughts down below. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button, as well as comment down below. Head on over to Samtron Films on how to see films early. And of course, it's a big thank you to you and a big thank you to my Patreon supporters, because without you, I would not be able to do this. So of course, until next time, stay classy.